Well, we've been busy this morning doing more tidying up and throwing away and more of that stuff. And I've got to head out next to try to, if you see those clouds out there, it just, I don't know, it just wants to rain on me. It's only raining over there. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we'll see. And then I'm going to put up a little piece that was in the Nassau Guardian today. And then we'll talk about that, about the tax on the home rental, vacation, home market people. And I think I'm 99% sure it's going to happen. Now this tax thing they're talking about, it's a complicated issue. Of course, the homeowners don't want the tax. There's no benefit to them whatsoever. The government wants the tax, of course. And then to complicate matters, the hotel people throughout the Bahamas already have to pay a tax. So they've, I don't know if the right word is lobbying, but they've been trying to push for getting the home rental market, which is a very big market in Eleuthera. Because we don't have a lot of hotels. Any? Hardly any. So they've been trying to, get the government to even the playing field so that people wouldn't say, well, I can rent this house and it doesn't have the tax added to it. And the government's also looking at, like governments everywhere, government wants more money. Here we are. I'm almost there. And what do we got? Oh, this giant cloud is coming right this way. So, see how it comes out. Hopefully this is the road. I'm not absolutely positive. By the sign, I'd say it is. How am I going to get up out of here? Well, I think I got it. I think I got some good photos. I don't know how long it's been, you know, abandoned, but it's right down by the beach. I don't know how much comes with it, but hey, that's perfectly fine, and you get a whole different, of course, perspective from being up there versus down on the bottom. So hopefully the pictures come out okay. So, you know, not too long ago, when I was the administrator for the Chamber of Commerce here, I had a lot of talks with just about every person in Nassau who, you know, hotel licensing, the Ministry of Finance, Inland Revenue, and there's always been this talk of how can we tax the home rental market. Now, the VAT tax doesn't affect the homeowner exactly, but it will affect their rentals, I think. So it's a, you know, like all tax, it's a consumer tax. So even back then, they were, you know, talking about how they could do it, how they could tax the, you know, rental market homes, because there's a substantial amount of money that disappears. So, you know, one of the things they tried at one point in time was to voluntarily, I mean, they tried to enlist me into voluntarily getting people to sign up their rental homes. And I said, there's nobody gonna do that. Nobody's gonna say, oh yeah, I'll sign up my rental home so my rentals get taxed. No, instead what the philosophy is gonna be is, oh, I don't rent my home. So, you know, I had said back then, this isn't gonna work. There's no way that people are gonna voluntarily tell you that they're renting their houses. It's got to be a more some way that you can't circumvent. You can still probably circumvent it a little bit, but so what they've done, and I kind of figured that's what they were going to do, is they're going to the big rental companies, the Airbnb, the HomeAway, blah blah blah, and they started with Airbnb. So why did they start with Airbnb? Notice I said start. It had always been my thinking that if you want to have a way of taxing the rentals, it had to be a fair, even way. You can't rely on people telling you the truth, that they rented it or they didn't rent it. So you would go to the rental companies and say, look, if you're going to rent a house in the Bahamas, you have to charge our VAT tax, and you have to remit that tax to us. So of the big companies, why would they do this? Well, the reason is that they went to Airbnb first, is Airbnb has a history of giving in to governments, towns, municipalities, that kind of stuff. So they went to them first, I'm sure, because of that, their willingness to say, okay, fine, we'll charge the tax, blah, blah, blah. So that's what's happening on that front. What's going to happen is that they have to enact some laws to make this, official. But once they enact these laws for the Bahamas, and now Airbnb's on board, so the precedent's been set, the laws are in place, and now you're going to charge 12% on top of it. So what'll eventually happen is that the other players, HomeAway and this, that, and the other, who also are big into the home rental market, will have to comply too if they want to do business in the Bahamas, which of course they will. So is that a bad thing? Well, I just went and saw the guys at the job, see what they're up to. I guess for a lot of them today's their last day, but there's nothing I can do. Thus becomes the big question, when, and I say when, not if, when the Bahamas enacts the laws that require these companies to charge the VAT, they charge a fee for holding it, and the VAT is, I mean, presently the VAT's at 12%. But again, I'm pretty sure VAT's going to go to, next jump will be 15, 17, and then she'll end up around 2022. So what's that going to do to the home rental market here? Is that going to be like a nail in the coffin? Is that going to be a real problem that is going to be insurmountable for a lot of people? I don't know, but I think it's going to be a big problem. That's my opinion. And with that is going to come the problem of if only people who have wads of money can afford to come here, and that's it. And I had this discussion with business people here before who were advocating, oh, it should just be, you know, wealthy people and blah blah blah, because they're the ones who spend money. If that becomes that scenario where only the wealthy can afford to come here, then there's a good indication, in my thinking, that this will collapse the economy. And there won't be enough money going around to keep everybody employed. And that certainly isn't a good thing. So, I don't know. You know, the government's in a hard place. They need money. Governments everywhere need money. How they're going to enact these laws, that I don't know. I mean, it's relatively easy to enact a new law, relatively. What's going to happen after that? I don't know. 12%, okay, figure your $5,000 rental now turns into $6,000 when you get to the bottom line, say. Is that the start of it? And then all of a sudden there's, you know, problems? It could very well be.